Two problems will arise when Attorney General Geoffrey Cox brings a Brexit deal back to the House of Commons, predicts Mark Francois. The Brexiteer MP pointed out the Attorney General will not be able to give a legal opinion on the agreement as he is involved in the negotiations, and, secondly, Theresa May has not secured a clear mandate on replacing the Brexit backstop. Referring to the Attorney General, Mr. Francois told ITV's Peston he will bring something perhaps back to the Commons and then we will take a view. Two problems. One, he is the Attorney General and he is meant to give a legal opinion to the House of Commons, but because he is involved in negotiating the deal, he will be marking his own homework, so it is going to be very difficult for him to give an objective opinion to the Commons on a deal that he has negotiated himself, so his own legal independence there is under pressure, shall we say. The second thing is, if what he brings back is extremely weak and pretty meaningless. Robert Peston interjected, "You'll vote against it, won't you?" Mr. Francois replied, "Of course we will." So the Brady Amendment, which the Commons passed on January 29, gave the Prime Minister a clear mandate to ask for the backstop to be replaced. That was the key word. Brexit news. Theresa May faces two problems blocking her deal, claims Mark Francois. Image Getty. He is the Attorney General and he is meant to give a legal opinion to the House of Commons. Mark Francois. The government have not asked the EU to do that despite the decision of the Commons. It looks like they have no ask for an end date. It looks like they're talking about some extremely convoluted arbitration procedure, which is probably going to be unconvincing. If it is unconvincing, then I believe the ERG overwhelmingly will vote against it because it means we would not leave the EU. The comments follow Brexit Secretary Stephen Barclay and Mr. Cox holding fresh talks in Brussels in a renewed effort to secure changes to the controversial Irish backstop. Mr. Cox and Mr. Barclay were seeking to allay fears that the backstop could leave the UK trapped in a customs union with the EU, in a bid to win over Tory MPs ahead of further votes next week. Mrs. May is set to bring her deal back to the Commons for a vote by March 12. If it is rejected, MPs will get the chance to either back a no-deal Brexit or call for the UK's departure from the EU to be delayed beyond the current March 29 deadline. Downing Street said Attorney General Geoffrey Cox's meeting on Tuesday with EU Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier was difficult. Mrs. May's official spokesman said, "My understanding is that the talks were difficult and there was a robust exchange of views. However, talks are ongoing. The EU continues to say that it wants this to be resolved and that it wants the UK to leave with a deal. Parliament has been clear that for this to happen, we require legally binding changes, which mean that the UK can't be trapped in the backstop indefinitely. That is what we will continue to pursue."